for final reading.
Speaker.
I call the honourable member Dr. Paul Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You're welcome.
You did indeed get my name right. It is an unexpected pleasure to speak on this privacy in brackets, giving Privacy Commissioner necessary tools, end of brackets, amendment bill. The title is a bit tortuous, but then again, might I too congratulate Sue Moroney for having had it plucked out of the ballot. But what I do think that Sue Moroney does need is a small lesson on how to win friends and influence people, because I was a little concerned when she said that it would go to the Justice and Electoral Committee because they had nothing much to do. Well, I think that is a deep insult on the hard-working Justice and Electoral Committee, so ably led by Scott Wilson. Now, Mr. Speaker, you can help me with that. His name is Scott Simpson, so ably led by Scott Simpson. Mr. Speaker, I was deeply worried that I wasn't going to get the chance to speak because of the time taken during the numerous Liberal interjections by none other than the Honourable Trevor Colin Mallard, born 17th of June 1954, schooled at that illustrious institution, Onslow College. Well, I must say, several other very eminent parliamentarians went to that great school as well and benefited from it. But just to add some other information, the Honourable Trevor Colin Mallard was born 54, first elected 1984, a different millennium than we're in, to the seat of Hamilton West, and then slid southward to his present occupancy. But, Mr. Speaker, this bill indeed is a very important, or covers a very, very important issue, and sadly, the bill that Sue Moroney has presented to the House takes only a very, very small section of the Law Commission's recommendations. And as we know, Mr. Speaker, the Law Commission always takes these things very thoroughly. Mr. Speaker, I am hugely aware from my professional background of the importance of privacy in this country, having lived through the unfortunate experiment at National Women's, which was then compounded by the Gisborne cervical cancer scandal some decades later, and then to be followed by the Green Lane heart issue, all of which involved deeply, profoundly personal privacy issues. And so, Mr. Speaker, the point to be made is that any legislation covering this issue of privacy must indeed be thorough and appropriate response to the Law Commission. And sadly, this bill is woefully scant in that respect. The government, in the meantime, is working hard and appropriately to make sure it introduces a bill that is that is appropriate to the complexity of the issues required. And of course, Mr. Speaker, one of the issues that we are all aware of, and I know that all members of the House support, is the vulnerable children's legislation. Their information sharing is absolutely necessary between various government departments and agencies, and to have that right and correct has required a lot of thought. I understand Sir Anand Satyanarayana is leading the committee looking at that, because it does require the balancing of all sorts of personal thank you. One more minute to go, Mr. Speaker. How excellent. It does in the Oh, look, I'm delighted once again. The Honourable Trevor Colin Mallard has leapt in to try and assist the House. Sometimes it doesn't quite happen that his interventions are all that helpful, but we do give him marks for his frequent interventions. But, Mr. Speaker, the point is that National wants legislation that balances the right and need of privacy for individuals against the need for particular government agencies to be able to share information to deliver better public services for New Zealand. It is indeed one of our priorities, but to get it right is
I'm sorry
absolutely
to interrupt
vital.
the honourable member. His time has expired. The time has come for me. The time has come for me to leave the chair. The People's House stands adjourned until 2 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, the 24th of October. Haere rā, po maruhi, good night.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What were you going to say, Trevor?